Point Trinity, and Monsanto.
It's time to take control of your health. This is Dr. Corey Garvin, pharmacist owner of Wester Drug in Muscatine and Wilton, and we're prepared to help you feel the best you can. From natural products that could potentially replace prescriptions to supplements and more, the staff and myself at Wester Drug work hard every day to improve our customers' overall health. Together, we can look at your medical history and current prescriptions to provide options. Both Wester Drug locations are ready to help you take control of your health. Please see us in Muscatine at 315 East 2nd Street or at our Wilton location at 400 Ovison Drive. At Wester Drug, we're treating the underlying cause, not just the symptoms.
I'm Kimmy from the Mustard Public Library, and our grand opening is happening Saturday, June 30th at our new location in downtown Muscatine. Join us for a full day of fun as we present the Oldenspiegel Puppet Theater from 11 to 3. Then be sure to attend our ribbon cutting ceremony and enjoy our new green space with the big blue blocks. We'll also be hosting an evening of live music from Adam Griffin Music at 4 and the Funk Daddies at 7. Join us at our new location in downtown Muscatine on Saturday, June 30th for the Mustard Library Outdoor Community Event.
Welcome to Moving Forward, sponsored by MPW Mocklink TV and Mocklink Internet, online at mpw.org. Each weekday morning, our local talk segment brings you the people who are helping move our community forward. Let's start the show.
Good morning, AM 860 and FM 95.1 KWPC. I'm Jordan Davis. Thanks for joining us here this morning. Once again, for Moving Forward, as you know, brought to you every Monday through Friday at 8:15. You can check us out online as well as at YouTube, on YouTube, and on Facebook at Voice of Muscatine. Now, once again, with this is Moving Forward, I want to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsor, Muscatine Power and Water, and remind everyone that you can experience the best value in entertainment and connectivity with Mocklink Internet and TV from MP&W. New subscribers can save big on TV or Internet and even more when you take both. Learn more at mpw.org. Now, once again, I'm Jordan Davis, and joining us here in the studio this morning, Dave Starkweather. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing great, Jordan. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. We're really glad to have you in today. Now, Dave is here to tell us about something that I'm sure all of us are very excited about. It's going to be coming up on the 4th of July. I'll let you take a guess. He's here to talk to us about the fireworks that are going to be happening on the 4th of July. I got to say, that's probably the highlight of 4th of July events, is the fireworks at the end of the night to wind down and just sit out and enjoy. And I know a lot of people really look forward to it, especially kids. Kids especially look forward to it.
Everybody loves fireworks.
Absolutely. They're just a good time, and we're pretty excited to hear about it. I just wanted to have Dave in to tell us a little bit about the process of putting together a fireworks show like this, because it's maybe not a process that everybody knows or understands entirely, like what it takes to get it all together, what it takes to actually make it happen then. So, Dave, I'll let you take it away. Can we start with just like the number of fireworks that we have?
Yeah, a typical show that we do for the 4th of July fireworks is somewhere around 480 shells. That includes the individual shells, and it also includes approximately 150 shots that are part of the finale.
Okay. Oh, wow, 150 in just the finale
Just
alone.
in the finale.
Wow, that's cool. Can I also ask you, I feel a little bit of kid coming out of me there. Can I also ask you a little bit about some of the different fireworks that you do use? Like, do you know the ones... There's one. It's got to be my absolute favorite one. When they fire it off, it goes out, and then it looks like a shower of just really tiny sparks that then explode again, but they make like that crackling sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are a lot of specialty shells that we have within the show. We shoot typically 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10-inch shells. The bigger the shell, the bigger the boom, the bigger the pattern that is displayed in the sky. But there are a variety. It's hard to tell which shell's going to be what. Mm-hmm. We just get them in an assortment and fire them off randomly.
Really? All right. Well, that's really cool. I mean, because there's so many different kinds, and there's different colors, and I'm sure it would be difficult to label each one and decide which one's going to go off when, that kind of thing.
They all have a name, but just to give you an idea, here's a blue and lemon peony. There's a blue peony, a crown to glittering. There are several different names. We just shoot them off.
That works for me, because it's still fun to watch no matter what order they're in, which one they are. Because, and I'll tell you one thing that I've always enjoyed was those really loud, like I know a lot of places use the beginning ones, the really loud explode, the boom, the one just to let everybody know the show's starting.
We have 10 of those.
Excellent.
We shoot one off 5 minutes before the shoot, and then we'll shoot some off at the beginning and then throughout the shoot. But they're called salutes.
Salutes. Okay.
Salutes.
That makes sense. That's really cool. And, man, I'm excited for the fireworks show because I haven't gotten to watch one on the river in many years. And it's a fun experience to get to sit on the river and watch fireworks be reflected in the water and stuff like that. And you guys will be shooting from the Illinois side, as you have for years.
Yeah, we've shot from the Illinois side for, probably 15 years now. Used to shoot on a barge on the river, but the cost of renting the barges got so expensive that the Brown family on the Illinois side has graciously allowed us to use their property to shoot the fireworks, like I said, for about the last 15 years.
That's very nice of them. And like I said, it's cool to get to watch them across the water too. And I'm sure it was interesting to see it off a barge too, because I feel like it would be hard to work on a barge trying to get all this fireworks set up and then standing out there. And I'm sure I haven't been on a barge myself, and I'm sure there's a little bit of motion when you're out there.
Yeah, and when one of those 10-inch shells goes off, there's a lot of percussion and concussion, and it'll make the front of a barge dip down a little bit.
Really? Wow.
And there's no place to run in case something goes wrong.
Well, you can always go underwater, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, that's great then. So we'll be firing from the Illinois side this year again, and so then let's talk about what it takes to get stuff set up the day of. So what time do you guys get started? Is it the day of that you go out and start setting stuff up?
Yeah, the show itself, we're actually employees of J&M Displays out of Yarmouth, Iowa.
Okay.
Excuse me. The show is actually put together in February. They'll put the package together.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And the day before, on July 3rd, they will send the truck up, which contains all of the mortars and all the racks. The shells, like I said, range from 4-inch to 10-inch. Anything over an 8-inch shell, 8 and 10-inch, has to be put in a sand bunker. Sand bunker is basically a box, and the shells or the tubes are put in there, and then it's filled with sand, and that's because of the size of the shell.
I see.
All the smaller shells are in open racks.
Okay.
So on the night before, we'll unload the truck, we'll set these racks up, kind of put them in an arrangement that we want, and then call it a night. The next day, we'll start about 8 in the morning. The J&M will bring up the shells themselves. And we'll start the process. We'll take the shells and we'll just lay them on top of each one of the mortars. And then each shell has a quick match on it, and an electric match has to be tied into each one of those shells.
Okay.
So that's quite a lengthy process of doing that. Then what we do is we put the shells down into the mortars. Those wires for the electric matches are then tied into a slat, which has little clips on it. And then that has a wire or cable tied into it that goes back to our shoot panel. The entire show is all electric. We don't have the thrill of lighting a fuse like we used to years ago. We do this all from a control panel, which is a 400-shot control panel.
Okay.
And you just push a button and the shell goes off.
Really?
So,
like it knows which shell is which? Really?
Yeah. There's 100 switches, and then there's 4 positions. That's where you get your 400. And there's an indicator light, and as soon as you shoot the shell, that light goes out, which tells you that there's not a live shell at that switch any longer.
I see. Okay.
And then the cleanup starts after we let the site cool down after the shoot. We look for any that didn't go off. And we carefully remove those and secure those, and then we disassemble the entire site. So we'll start at about 8 in the morning on July 4th, and we'll finish somewhere around 1 o'clock on July 5th.
Ooh.
And it's a continual day.
That's a long day, but
that's a long day.
But that's really cool. So you now looking for ones that are that didn't fire.
Right.
Do their lights still show up on the board, or does it read like they have been fired?
It could go either way.
Okay.
It could go either way. We do an actual visual. Because when the shell is down into the mortar and the electric match wire is coming out of it, we usually have a pretty good indication of whether or not there's still a live shell in that mortar or not. The big shells, the 8s and the 10s, we'll actually put masking tape crisscrossed so that we can tell if that shell has gone off or not.
Oh, because the tape will be broken.
Right, the tape would be broken, and the last thing you want to do is look over the edge and see if there's still something in there.
Right. Yeah, that's a terrifying idea.
That's the last thing. Could be the last thing you ever do too.
Yeah, it's like looking down the barrel of your gun to see if it's clear.
Exactly.
Well, that's really interesting that all of this goes into, because most people, their experience with fireworks is the fireworks that you can go and you can get at the tents, like
right.
That are set up all over the place. So you've got the sparklers that you can wave around, or you set a bottle rocket into a mayonnaise jar or whatever it is. But these are a whole different process and a whole different ball game when it comes to putting together these big fireworks that you see light up, because some of those have huge spreads. Like, they are humongous explosives.
Well, a 10-inch shell will go approximately 1,000 feet in the air.
Wow, that's incredible. That's a really tall. That's a really high.
And they have a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
When we took our training originally, they took a 3-inch shell, which is the smallest ones that we shoot, and they put a 1/2-inch piece of plywood over the mortar and lit the shell off, and the shell went through the plywood in a perfect hole and still went a couple 100 feet in the air.
Seriously.
So they have a lot of power.
The smallest shell.
That's the smallest one.
That's it. That's terrifying. I'll tell you that. That's crazy. Now, the shell itself, the piece that comes out, is it like a little... What is it, like a little piece of metal? What is the ball that's actually in there?
It's actually all paper.
Really?
All of our shells come from China, and they have they're like some of them are long and cylindrical, some of them are round. It just depends on what the type of the shell is and what the pattern of the shell is. It has a black powder charge at the bottom of it, which is where the fuse goes into. There's the quick match, which is black powder match, basically, is almost instantaneous when it's ignited.
Okay.
But the black powder on the bottom is what propels the shell up. Then there's a secondary fuse then that explodes the shell itself and the pattern of whatever's inside the shell.
Okay. So if a shell's like, I don't know, say 5 inches in diameter, is that paper piece that's inside almost the same diameter?
Exactly.
Okay, I got you. So it's like a bullet.
It's like a bullet in a gun.
Gotcha.
One of the things that you have to be very careful of is never put a smaller shell into a bigger mortar, because you don't have the compression ratio there to get it to lift.
Oh, because it will, when it explodes, it might not get that little that boost
exactly.
up. It might just sit there.
And all of the mortars are color coded, so that you can get that's why we lay the shell on top of each mortar before we introduce them, so that we know that we've got the right shell going into the right mortar.
I see. What's the danger of getting any of this wet? Like, is it likely liable to get wet? Like, gets dewy or it's humid or anything like that?
If they get damp, especially the lift charge, which is the black powder charge on the bottom, if they get damp, they will not go off.
They will not go off.
They will not go off. They are very susceptible to moisture.
So what do you guys do in the event of rain? Do you run out with tarps, or do you guys just say, "Oh, that's"?
We do have tarps. When we set the racks up the night before, because these racks have to be tied together, they're individual racks, and then we have to tie them together. The night before, we'll tip them upside down, so that there's no moisture can get in them in case it does rain.
Gotcha.
We watch the weather real close. If we get them half loaded and we start running into trouble, then we have to tarp everything to keep them from getting wet.
I see. Well, that's an interesting process, and there's a whole lot. It seems like there's a whole lot to go into it. Do you guys have to go through like several hours or days of training?
Everybody that's on the shoot site has to go through a clearance process with the ATF, or the ATFE, because they've added explosives to that now. We have to have clearance there. Like I said, we are actually employees of J&M. I have to hold an Illinois license from the State Fire Marshal's office to be able to shoot over there, as well as being licensed for high explosives in the state of Illinois. Illinois' got some of the strictest rules when it comes to display fireworks.
They do. Yeah, I'm from Illinois. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
They're very strict.
Yeah, you have to have both of those, or at least one of us. That's why I'm the one that has those permits. So,
I see.
But yeah, and then we go through a training process. J&M also, for their employees, has an online safety refresher course that we do. So they're very particular about our training and our capabilities.
Right, because like you said, even the smallest shell can cause some serious damage if
Absolutely.
you're standing over it or something like that. Or like, have you ever seen a shell that didn't lift properly?
Oh, absolutely.
Went off on the ground. That's
absolutely.
terrible.
If you get one that comes out just barely out of the mortar, it's called a flower pot, because basically it gets off the ground maybe 10 or 15 feet and then blows up. And that kind of gets your heart going a little bit, because unlike the spectators, we're probably less than 100 feet away from the shells.
And I mean, as far away as we, as the spectators, normally sit from fireworks, you can still feel that thump from that explosion in your chest. You can feel that. I can't imagine what that's like up close.
You get a 10-inch shell that goes off, and if you're within 100 feet of it, you know it.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
It's got some tremendous power to it.
Yeah. You guys I'm sure you guys all wearing ear protection
when
you're out there. Yeah.
Hard hats, hearing protection. We wear all cotton clothing during the shoot, because cotton will not stick to your skin if it burns.
If it ignites, right.
Such as, your synthetics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're very particular on our apparel too.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that's as bad as anything. Having, like, even if a little piece fell on you and it started to burn that clothing, a lot of clothes nowadays will, like you said, stick to you when it burns. Ugh. That's not a fun thing to imagine happening.
No, and so yeah, we're very well versed. There are actually 7 of us on our shoot team, so we put in a lot of hours.
I don't doubt it. Well, I'm pretty excited about it, because it's fireworks that are going to be coming up, and I'm really glad that you came in to tell us about the process, what it takes to get this rolling, so that everybody is A, safe,
right,
and B, that we have a great show. So really appreciate you coming in to share with us this morning, Dave.
You're welcome, Jordan. My pleasure.
It has been a lot of fun. Dave even brought in some pictures that I took a peek at with just some of the racks and some of the ways that they put all these out there. And I'll tell you what, folks, it looks like a lot of manual labor getting those moved around. So certainly be appreciative of the gentlemen and guys and gals that are out there making all this happen. So thank you very much, Dave, for joining us here this morning for Moving Forward.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure once again. I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Muscatine Power and Water. MockLink is always Muscatine's fastest internet, and gigabit speed is coming. MockLink TV beats satellite and includes video and music streaming. New subscribers save big, even more when you bundle. Learn more on mpw.org. This has been Moving Forward with Jordan Davis, and joining us in the studio, Dave Starkweather, today to talk about fireworks. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in to Moving Forward on AM 860 and FM 95.1 KWPC and the voice of Muscatine.com.
You've been listening to Moving Forward on the voice of Muscatine, KWPC, AM 860, FM 95.1. Thanks to our sponsor, MPW Digital TV and MockLink Internet, the local providers at mpw.org. And remember, Moving Forward, each weekday at 8:15 to learn how Muscatine is on the move.